¿Cuál es mejor? Spanish for which is better, Ecuador or La República Dominicana, the Dominican Republic. Honestly, it's a hard choice. If you like the beaches, well, I mean, come on. If you love the mountains and the beaches and seeing a cool toucan and monkeys and things like that, well, then maybe you go with Ecuador. Honestly, each country has its own things, and today we are here in the Dominican Republic, but we're also going to be in Ecuador talking about which is better for you. And I'm going to tell you in the end which I prefer personally. I mean, look at this. This is just beautiful. But is it my favorite? And good morning, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Ecuador. Today we're starting in the airport because we're not staying in Ecuador today. Well, we'll be back and forth a little bit. However, we are off to an island that I lived in for a year as I was a teacher in Santiago, Dominican Republic. And today we are going back. And I'm going to tell you where I would rather live and similarities and differences between the two countries. And honestly, I really love them both, but there is a clear winner. Let's go on an airplane, a couple of airplanes, to La República Dominicana. Vámonos.
Personal items such as purses.
And welcome to the Dominican Republic. I lived here many years ago, 2009, 2010. I was back here a couple of years ago to Santo Domingo, but today we're going back to the place that I lived in for a whole year, teaching English and other subjects in Santiago at a bilingual school. I'm so excited, but honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, and we're in for a real adventure. Let's compare landing here to landing in Ecuador, where I feel like this is just craziness compared to Ecuador, where it's all calm, you know exactly where to go. And oh, here we go. Taxi, that's what I need. Taxi, shallow. Doesn't look like a taxi. And this is the experience here in Ecuador. When you land, it's just so calm and peaceful. Actually, you smell flowers. It actually smells really good because they sell flowers here to give to your loved ones when they arrive. Sorry, it was on manual focus, but this is the experience. So calm, so peaceful. There's even buses that come through here, lots of speed bumps like that one, and it is the way to go. And they won't rip you off either. This time I paid with a card, and there's a guy with a little machine that came out, but usually they have something right in the car. You just want to ask before you get in the car, and you're set to go. But it's yellow. They won't overcharge you, and even if you look like me, they still know the right charge to give me. Oh boy, look at all these yellow cars. Definitely one of the most strange experiences of just going into a van at the airport. This is their official taxi service. It costs about $17 for about a 15-minute ride, split with somebody else. So 2,000 pesos, like $36, $38 in order to come here to Caribe Tours, where I'm going to get on a bus. About 2 hours to Santiago. Vámonos. So this 2-hour bus ride cost half the price as just coming from the airport to here. 450 pesos, which would be about $8, for us to go 2 hours to Santiago. I think that's crazy. Just using the public transportation is the way to go, but when you're in the airport, that's what the locals said to do, and I was riding with the local, so I know that I did not get ripped off. She's also going to Santiago, from Santiago, speaks no English, and yeah, I don't think I got ripped off coming from the airport to here. It's just more expensive. But everywhere you go is just beautiful. You can just see the ocean right behind me. I'll be back here later in this video, but for now, I think transportation in Ecuador has to be winning. It's just so clear, one, where the taxis are, and I've said it in other videos, they are very, very respectful, and they don't rip you off. here you're just not sure. You're getting into a random van with a guy that's wearing some sort of official shirt, and you come here and you're not sure if you get ripped off or not. Also, this bus is supposed to leave at 2:15 and it is 2:18 right now. No sign of a bus. Huh. Hope it comes. All a part of the adventure. And we have finally arrived. 3.5 hours, tons of traffic, but we are here and it was very comfortable. There's USB-C ports, so you're able to charge your phone and watch outside and do all those things. And it's air conditioned, not too bad for about $8 for about a 3-hour bus ride. All right, now, where do I go? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mira. And from the bus stop, as you know, I'm not going to show you the places that everybody goes to on this channel. Well, sometimes I do, but many times, wow, I'm going to the typical places around the country that I visit. I love this, and one of the big differences is the music. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I feel like I could just dance. I mean, honestly, it's not quiet because there's music. It could be quiet because we're in the middle of absolutely nowhere, but there's music everywhere, and you're just next to all this wild bananas and leaves and mango trees, and it's a beautiful thing. But the streets, they can be really nice, or they can look like this, but it's always going to be lively. In Ecuador, the streets are more quiet, and there might be some music, but not like here, where every single house in the morning is playing their own variation of merengue, and people are dancing and having fun, and well, of course, drinking a roncito or presidente, una cervecita. So good. I love that about the atmosphere here in the Dominican Republic. It's just the island culture, which is different and beautiful. Una mano. Yeah. The other similarity is that there are dogs in the street and there are motorcycles, kind of like Colombia. In Ecuador, we have motorcycles, but it's not quite as popular as here. But you can understand why. A big difference is the temperature. On the coast of Ecuador, you have this same like Caribbean culture of hot and like very humid. Here too. When you're in the Caribbean, you're going to get this weather, which is beautiful. You can be outside all year round. And even though it gets a little cooler, and Dominicans, because I lived here, they don't go to the beaches in the winter time, which is still way warmer than even in Miami in the winter. It's cooler in the beaches. So you have your winters and your summers, and the summertime is the same as the United States. So the kids here will be off for June and July. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And here's some more music. I just love it. This is just a cool culture here in the Dominican Republic, and really all the islands are the same, because a lot of the islands had, well, unfortunately, a lot of slavery, and people from Africa came. And I think that really formed the cultures around lots of the Caribbean. And so people here, they will tell you directly what they think. Whereas in most of Latin America, it's not very direct, and people are more reserved, and you have to ask this person what that person said and things like that. But here, you know exactly what everyone thinks. ¿Qué te parece de la República Dominicana? ¿Te gusta?
¿Y quién es ese?
Este es mi amigo, Franco.
La cámara es Franco.
Es Franco.
La
Sí.
cámara es tu amigo.
Sí, este es mi cámara. Mi amigo es Franco, la cámara.
Pero yo me voy.
¿Cómo está la vida en la República Dominicana?
Bien.
¿Sí? Qué bien. ¿Por qué?
Qué divertido.
Es divertido, sí. Qué bien. Excelente. ¿Y cómo está la comida?
Yo voy a. Ahorita voy. ¿Ya?
¿La comida? ¿Cómo está la comida de acá?
Bien.
¿Bien? También voy.
Después yo le me preguntas tantas cosas.
¿Qué
raras.
más?
No, pero tíralo más bajito. Él va a seguir.
And the real life here is going to the corner stores, just like in Ecuador. You grab a beer, a Presidente, and you just keep going. If you have to pick somebody up at the airport, you just grab it out of the cooler, you pay about $1, grab a beer, nice and cold, and very refreshing on a hot day. Vámonos. Salud. Gracias. And as you drive around, you see all the banana trees, you see the mango trees, and all the fruit that you export here, which is very similar to the fruit that we have in Ecuador that we export as well. And, well, it's just so beautiful to drive around and see everything with Presidente in your hand. So good. Cheers. But how is the food in the Dominican Republic compared to Ecuador? Well, right here I have a mofongo. This is the typical dish, especially here in Mocha, and people come in busloads to come and try it. It has this green plantain that's smashed up after being boiled, and then I got some chicharrón, which is basically the Latin America version of a tocino, the bacon, and I have some other meats in here like longaniza, topped with cheese and salsa, and my goodness, this is so good. This is my first time though trying it. It looks good, but let's see what it's like. Oh, it just falls right apart. Put some salsa on it, and it's so good. You have some crunch in there with the chicharrones, mixed with the soft, delicious salsa on the top, and the really good cheese. That's a cheddar cheese on the top of it as well. Really, really good. My goodness, this is delicious. Also, you've got some pico de gallo here that you can put onto it. The salsa isn't spicy or anything. It's just very, very good. And with this music and the cool breeze from all these bands that are all around us, man, it doesn't get any better than this. Let's talk about the food in Ecuador. I mean, look at this. We're back in Ecuador right now, and we have corvina, which is this delicious white fish. You have your rice, you have a little salad, you have some beans, and you have a fresh juice, and I just had the soup, which was just so good I had to eat it quickly. Then you have this little hot sauce right here, and honestly, this is just the best. I love this lunch. So good. But here in the Dominican Republic, you're going to have the tres golpes, which is fried cheese, fried salami, and a fried egg. Super good. I mean, just look at this. This here is the fried cheese. Oh man, that's good. But sometimes you have it with this fresh cheese here as well. But you're always going to have this right here, a piece of salami that's been fried, and it's just so good. I love salty food, and this is it. Bread is kind of common here, but eggs definitely win. They are so delicious, and there's so much good Caribbean food here that you can find a variation of this on all the islands in the Caribbean, but here in the Dominican, when you're speaking Spanish and you're in your kind of native language, if you're from Latin America, or from me, I just love Spanish, and eating this delicious comfort food just to start your day with a delicious cup of coffee that's also made here in the Dominican Republic, and the coffee is out of this world. So good. But look at this breakfast from Ecuador, the bolón. It's like this plátano, this green plantain, and then you've got some chicharrón on the top of it. You have some more meat right here. You have an egg, you have fresh juice, and usually coffee. And my goodness, mixed with some hot sauce right here. Oh, it's so good. I love the Ecuadorian breakfast. If you want to know what it's really like to be a YouTuber, well, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Gringo y Latino, and when you have a 20-minute break to make a video and fly a drone, you take your 20-minute break and you fly your drone. And from the food to everything else, let me tell you which one I prefer. I love Dominican Republic. It's where I started to learn my Spanish like 16 years ago, a long time ago. And I love it here. I love the tropical feeling. I love the humidity. I love that it's always really hot outside. I enjoy that. And of course, you really come here for the beaches, and they are beautiful. This one here is not really a beach. I'm just walking on a malecón, and it is very beautiful, but unfortunately, there is just a lot of trash that's all over the place, and unfortunately, that kind of ruins this malecón area a little bit. But I love the people, and the people here are very different than the people that you would find in Ecuador. In Ecuador, you're calmer, you have just calm conversations. Here, everyone will be very direct, and they will tell you exactly what they're thinking, which I kind of enjoy. I love that, and just stopping for a beer on the side of the road, I think that's super, super cool. And for me, just going a half an hour or an hour away to find a beautiful beach, that's so amazing to me, and something that honestly I can't do where I live in Quito, Ecuador. Quito is a beautiful place, but Quito is really high in the mountains, and Quito isn't a place where you just go and you go to the beach. You usually take an airplane, and from the airplane you go and you fly to Guayaquil, or you fly to Manta, or you fly to a beach town, which are also beautiful, but the water isn't going to be water that you're going to necessarily go and jump in and be like, oh, I'm just going to go in the nice warm water. Here it is. In the Caribbean, it's going to be beautiful water and just a beautiful view all around you. And honestly, I really love that. Also, you have the tropical foods and things like that here, which you do have also in Ecuador. But one thing is the price. So the prices here in the Dominican Republic are going to be way more expensive than the prices that you would have in Ecuador. So for prices, 100% Ecuador wins. Infrastructure, how are the roads? Well, the road on my way from Santiago to Santo Domingo is actually very nice. And this road right here, also very, very nice. But there are a lot of roads here that have not been fixed up. And right next to the airport in Santiago, that's a road that's all ripped up, and you feel like you're in the middle of the campo, which is kind of cool and different. Ecuador, though, I think they win for the infrastructure. The roads there are just really, really nice. But where can you breathe better? Where can you go for a run better? Well, that's definitely going to be here in the Dominican Republic, because, well, in Ecuador, at least in the top parts, like the Sierra parts, you're at 9,000 feet going for a run. So here, I just feel like I can breathe and I can run so fast, and you can have a beer on the way. All right, let's keep going. And how about if you want to work remote? Well, there are so many people from the United States that come here because it's just a quick hour-and-a-half flight from Miami to Santiago or Santo Domingo. So as far as that goes, I think they're set up because they're so close to the United States, and people that come here to work remotely and just get away from the winter, that it's still cheaper to live here than it is the United States, and I think that Dominican Republic might win in that way. However, I will say that the internet and the power outages are less, so better in that sense, like less power outages and better connectivity in Ecuador. Also, the Spanish here in Dominican Republic is going to be really tough for you to understand. It's like going to Chile and trying to understand Chilean. There's so many modismos, like specific words and phrases that you only use here and you don't use anywhere else. Whereas in Ecuador and also Colombia, you're going to have just very easy, slow Spanish for you to understand and for you to converse with and have fun with. However, here the people are just so warm and welcoming, and you can just go outside. Like, everyone is just outside on their porch waiting for a conversation. And they love it when you come by and you're like, hey, I just want to talk with you for a while. They love that, which is really cool. And in the Sierra area of Ecuador, it's not quite like that. You're in your house more, you get invited to parties at a house. On the coast, people are outside much more. So Ecuador is kind of split in that way, whereas this is just an island. But for natural beauty, if you like beaches, I think this is the place. If you like the mountains and you want to see some beautiful birds that are you know, in the selva and the rainforest, you got the rainforest, you've got the islands of Galapagos, you have the Sierra area, you have so many different beautiful places to go and visit in Ecuador that honestly, as far as beauty is concerned, maybe I would go with Ecuador just because it's so diverse. But here in La República Dominicana, the beaches will win, 100%. I like the beaches here even more than the beaches of Ecuador. But my goodness, there's just so much activity here, and it's not super sunny, super hot, but everyone still wears pants. Everyone, I mean almost everyone. The guy behind me doesn't and those guys aren't, but I think it's very popular to go and just wear some pants as you walk around and find some different places to go. Look at this place, how cool.
Yo sé twist un poco Coca-Cola. Ya salieron. Here we go.
I don't know if you saw the pour of this, but it's pretty much all rum, and then there's a little bit of Coca-Cola in there. Super nice, and honestly, it doesn't cost very much either. So this cost me about $3, and you have this behind us. So you have a rum and Coke, I mean basically it's rum and a little Coke, and then you've got this, and then you also have volleyball tournament going on where the United States is playing, Mexico is playing, Dominican Republic is playing. How cool is that? And you've got the music, all of this kind of stuff. Super cool. And well, as I was finishing to order it, unfortunately somebody just stole a motorcycle. So be careful when you're coming here to the DR, or honestly anywhere you go when there's a lot of people around. Just be very careful.
Dominicana,
Pause the video really quickly. I want to share with you, if you are traveling outside of your home country, what you should do. This is it right here. You need to download what is in the first comment right below or in the description. There is a link so that you get 5% off of getting a cell phone plan for any country that you want to go to. Take a look. It's called HolaFly. I used it for this trip. I use it for every trip that I go to. I paid for it before having them being sponsored with me. I did pay for it this trip, and I am a firm believer. It's a little more expensive, but it just works. I love that. All right, back to the video. Check out HolaFly. Nemo. All of this is good and great and grand, and you can have some marijuana or something like that. I don't know what this is called. Not marijuana, but like a special drink from here. You can have all this good stuff, but honestly, like, which one do you prefer? That's just such a personal decision. And honestly, if you were here to retire, I would retire in Ecuador. If you were here to come to a place and work for a little while, like a teacher like I was 16 years ago here, or if you're here to work remotely and you love the beach, you love mountains, you love tropical places, you also want to get back home to the United States really quickly and easily, then maybe I would go here. But oh, it's just so hard. Maybe I'll just have a little more of this and we'll figure it out. I am not gonna lie, guys, the beaches here are absolutely incredible though. I mean, it's so peaceful, so calm right now. You just hear the small little waves coming in, and it's so blue you can see all the way to the bottom. And then you've got a bottle of Brugal that you have, and you're just hanging out, having some rum, having a Presidente beer, and enjoying this beautiful weather. And it's not so hot when you're in the water. It is a beautiful thing to be here, but let's go back to Ecuador. Oh, it's a hard decision. Let's go. So which would you prefer, Ecuador or the Dominican Republic? Honestly, for me, it's a really hard choice, but for me, I think I would go with Ecuador because I love the mountains. I love living at 9,000 feet of elevation. I love going out for mountain bike rides, and if I want to go to the beach or go to an island, I can go to the Galapagos, which is still a part of the country. And you can see the toucans, which are my favorite bird, and there's just so much there. I honestly just love Ecuador, but I loved living here too. There's so many great things about the Dominican Republic and all that it has to offer. But for me, I can't wait to be back. I'm excited to go back to Ecuador, see my family, see Moses and Elise, and well, let me know in the comments which you prefer. We'll see you guys next time. Check me out on Instagram and TikTok, Gringo y Latino. But for now, enjoy life, find the good in everything, and ciao, pescado.